Hi, my name is Frank Turner. You are watching Morgan Richards interviews. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Hey, I'm Morgan Richards from Radio Cardiff, backstage at the Great Hall music venue here. I'm joined now by a man who's consistently written positive songs for negative people with a tape deck heart. It's, of course, the wonderful Frank Turner.
Hi there, how you doing?
Hey, man, you right?
Yes, I'm good. I'm a little rough around the edges today. I was doing a DJ set in Birmingham last night after my show in Coventry, but it's great to be in Cardiff again. It's been quite a while, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, oh, fantastic. So, Frank, after what's been a hectic schedule touring your latest record, Positive Songs for Negative People, over the last year, you'll now be releasing a special documentary film titled Get Better on December the 13th, created by your good friend Ben Moores, following yourself and the Sleeping Souls on tour. With the time of filming eventfully turning into a remarkable and struggling one for you personally, is it quite fitting ending this cycle on this now getting closure almost and starting a fresh scene?
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't immediately thought of it like that until you just said it, but I think that's a good way of putting it. I mean, essentially, Ben was on tour with us anyway, taking photos, and decided to start filming. And the original idea was that it was going to be a film about the band that never stops working, and then 2 months in we stopped working because we were working. I had a huge fight with my record label about the album Positive Songs for Negative People. I had a certain way that I wanted to make the record. I had a vision for what I wanted it to be. Other people disagreed, and I had to fight them on it. And then that sort of coincided with or caused a bit of a sort of collapse in my personal life as well. And Ben sort of documented the whole thing, and it was so it sort of ended up being a film about sort of quite a sort of choppy time in my life, shall we say. And it's cool because it has a happy ending, and it is sort of essentially it's about the making of that record and about how that all came together, and it's kind of nice, to sort of be wrapping up at this point. I mean, it's funny, the film, Ben sent me like a rough edit, if you like, and sort of said, I wanted you to see this and let me know what makes you uncomfortable and what you want me to take out. And I said, I'm not going to ask you to take anything out because I think that would artistically compromise the project. I think it should be purely his vision of and his record of what he saw and everything. And secondly, the entire thing makes me uncomfortable because it's a documentary about me. Do you know what I mean? And that's a weird thing. And may you live long and not watch a documentary about yourself. It's a strange experience. But I mean, I think it's a good film. I'm the wrong person to ask, but I think it's a good film. And it's kind of, and there is a sort of happy ending to the film. Spoiler alert. And it's kind of cool to be on this tour for it now as well.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, fantastic. And with now having a film out and recently releasing your own book, has it been quite humbling getting to document these times in your life in such big art forms away from the music?
It's been cool. It's been. I mean, the film thing I can't take enormous amounts of credit for. It's very much Ben Morse's film. I mean, I'm the subject of it, but I didn't really do anything other than continue to exist whilst the camera is rolling. I mean, the book process was humbling just because I was hubristic about how easy it was to write a book, and the answer is not very. I've written magazine articles plenty before, journalistic pieces. I just sort of figured that it would be like writing a bunch of them in a row, and it obviously, I mean, it just sounds stupid saying that out loud now. There was very much a kind of a sort of a realization that I'd bitten off rather more than I thought I had when I was working on the book. But I mean, actually finishing it was fantastic, and its reception was fantastic, and it's definitely given me a taste to maybe do that again sometime. I mean, I'm not sure that I'd write another book about touring. I've done that now, but it's very satisfying holding a book. More CDs and vinyl are quite thin. Books are quite heavy. You can hit people with them and it hurts. And give them to people for Christmas and stuff like that. No, the book thing was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And speaking of music, with this cycle almost coming to an end now, has work truly started towards maybe a next full collective record?
Well, I mean, so when we put out Positive Songs, we decided we were going to do 2 years on tour for the record, and we're sort of 18 months into that now, there, give or take. And it looks like we're going to be touring through till kind of June, July next year, and then that will be the sort of official Positive Songs tour, and that's a good, solid, respectable amount of time on the road for one record. I have been writing a lot. I mean, I said a lot of this about the last record, but I feel it's yet more true now. I feel like I need to justify my continued existence as an artist. You know, it's easy to be excited about band's first album or second album, whatever, but like, I feel like, you know, seventh album, I need to kind of like provide reasons for people to care, and which is a complicated way of saying I need to not repeat myself. I've been thinking quite a lot about when I first started playing this kind of music, having been in punk bands, and a big part of the motivation for picking up an acoustic guitar was just something I didn't know how to do. And I think that it's really important for any creative writer to be outside of your comfort zone if at all possible. And I'm thinking about that a lot at the moment. So basically I've got a whole pile of songs. I'm thinking very hard about how and where and with who to record them. I'm quite into the idea of doing something quite weird and quite left field, or at the very least quite different from what I've done before. I may have written a concept album. I haven't quite decided whether how quite how far I'm pushing that angle just yet, but we'll see. It's early days. I'm going to be in the studio here and there throughout next year, so I couldn't put any kind of timescale on it just yet. But I'm definitely it is the thing that is occupying my creative mind right now.
Okay, well, fair enough. And Frank, just a couple more quick things now before you go. At the end of this tour, we'll actually see you perform your 2000th gig as a musician, coinciding with the film. When you look at that statistic, I'm sure it's quite a surreal thing to hear everything you've done, especially with just numbers like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the whole numbers thing's a funny one, because like the drummer of Million Dead counted our shows, and at the time I thought he was weird for doing it, and then when the band broke up I was really glad he did, because I have a record of what we did. So I started counting my shows, and like at the beginning it wasn't really a big thing, and then like when show 1000 was coming up, which was a terrifyingly short 5 years ago, initially I was like, it's just a number rolling over, every show's equally important, blah 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 blah. Then I kind of got over myself and realised that it's quite a good excuse for a party. So we had a big party for show 1000, and now we're doing the same show 2000. I mean, you know, since then the show numbering thing's become a bit more of a deal. We always announce the show number at the gigs. I know there are people who have them tattooed on them and stuff, and so it's a bit more of a deal these days. I mean, I don't want to take it overly seriously. It is just a number rolling over. And I mean, one of the other things is like, people keep asking me, I know you didn't, but like people keep asking me like, how many shows do you think you'll get to in total? And that's essentially asking me like when I'm going to die, or if not that, you know, how long I think I can sustain a career in the music industry. Both of which questions I've not particularly minded to spend much time thinking about. Do you know what I mean? And but I mean, you know, it's cool, it's nice. There was definitely a point in my life when I was involved in some kind of like bravado, like arms race with myself to be the hardest touring guy in the world. And we do tour pretty hard still, and I like touring, and it is my preferred mode of existence, but I can't say that I'm quite so kind of worked up about the whole thing anymore. You know, I first of all, there was definitely a point in 2013 when I started coming apart at the seams because we were touring too hard, and I wanted to do this for a long time, and there's no point in me killing myself in my mid-30s and thereby not being able to tour after that. But also, you know, like I have a house now that I live in, and I have a girlfriend, and I have a life, and that's the other thing. I think I started becoming quite one-dimensional as a person for a time there, you know. And I think that it's good. I'm going on holiday after this tour, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna have dinner with my family, and I'm gonna see my friends, and I'm gonna do things other than be a musician for a time, and I think that's kind of important.
Okay, yeah, oh, perfect. Well, that's about it. Cheers, Frank, for taking time out to have fun.
Thank you. Cheers, thank you. It was fun.
No worries. Best luck now with everything in the future, and hope we can catch you again very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.